nearly 2/3 of the way done with my giant stack of book haul that I hauled earlier. And so these are the remaining 2/3, and I'm just going to talk about how I divided it into a TBR. Maybe pull some other books from my TBR to add into the stacks, the remainder. Because I was a bit of a crazy person about all my TBR books out here. So, to start with, I was ordering my books into, loose categories to see what I had, because I know I like, certain things, but I like a variety. So I was looking, and I was like, okay, so first off, I had, at the time I had 3, I've read one of them now, non-fictions. I think, that's interesting. And I had 3, adult fantasy that I really knew nothing about, that were, kind of thicker. That's interesting. I had, 3 mysteries. That's interesting. 3, I think it was 3. Did I have 3? I had 3 indie books that I hadn't read. It was something like that. I forget exactly how it was. 2 of them are fantasy. So nowadays we have 2 matching indie fantasy. I had 2 books that have multiple stories in one volume, and in the Hall of the Dragon King, which, I don't know, it felt like it was a similar size, even though it's not. But, I was like, I have 3 of those. And then, I had 3 animal stories. And I had 3, set an olden time stories. And I had 3 grandparents stories. And I had just so many books that came in 3s. And so I just divided them up into stacks, and if there wasn't a nice 3, what do these 2 have in common? Really not much. I would just, lump them together. I think I had a category of between 50s and 70s books. That was when they were published, and so that was the category they were in. That was just how it worked. And so that's how I divided them into stacks. And I read through one of the stacks. I has the other multiple books in one, so I have read the first one, and I left it lay there because I was like, I don't know. I just don't know about, reading them all back to back, because like I said, I like variety. So I think what I'm going to do is something different. It's part of it, ending up being part of my long books blog, because my War and Peace and Other Chunky Books, because it is a chunky book, even if it is 5, this size books. That's not here, that's not there. Alright, so now to consider these books. I'll have to stop for a bit. So let's quick pull out some categories of books I've got. I have 4 of these thin little Victorian moral stories. I have, it looks like, 3 G.A. Henty. This isn't looking good for my 3 stack purpose, but hey. That I'm already currently kind of finished reading. I should put this on my chunky book series. So, different category altogether. Here's a historical fiction. Here's a non-fiction, historical fiction. Let's see. Non-fiction, mystery I know nothing about. Non-fiction, Esther. Non-fiction, chunky non-fiction. I don't know what it's categorized as. Horsey story. So, new stack. Mystery. historical fiction. Back. Animal story, we'll put that with the horsey story. Classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. I got this book for free. I wonder why. Yeah. This is nonfiction. Book I know nothing about, but it's fiction, so I think it's classic, maybe? We'll put it in classic. Middle grade fantasy. I don't have a category for that, so it gets this new one. Nonfiction. Middle grade adventure. We'll put that just with middle grade. Nonfiction. And just novel. Wow. I don't have very many things that I categorize as just novel. Now, I have a couple categories, again, where there's 3 books. However, that's a problem, because I have 2 books. Oh! I'm forgetting a couple books. We have a classic, in my opinion. We have another mystery. We have a nonfiction horsey book. We have... Is this the last one? Middle grade school story, but we'll put that with middle grade. And we have Hot Quest, which goes in the chunky books, but I haven't started it, so it goes on the TBR. I'm only counting currently started chunky books. So, yeah. I have the 2 stacks here. I'm not sure you can see this one. That are my original TBR. I have this massive stack of nonfiction, so I need to include more nonfiction in my reading. We could divide this into different categories of nonfiction, though, which I think we will do. Let's see. Science. We'll put those 3 as science. Biography. Kind of biography. General history. Kind of biography. By general history, I mean not a biography and not, science. Science. Let's just say the ones that, you know, animals and stuff, not human. There's no, like, rock books. Anything like that. I'm gonna put that under biography and general fiction. So 4 biographies, 3 science, and 3 general history. By which I mean it's really dealing with more than one. I mean, I don't know, this one might be dealing with more than one. It probably is, absolutely, but wait, so it kind of looks like I could be doing another 3 stack divided into thirds. However, I do know a few things. Starting with the fact that middle grade March is coming up. Woo! And so I would like to, this is the next stack of books I will be reading. So I would like to, lean heavily with middle grade books. So we have 2 middle grade animal books, 4 middle grade, just all sorts of varieties. And these could count as middle grade. They're, you know, like I said, moral stories. There's a couple non-fictions here that potentially are middle grade. One of these mysteries is definitely a middle grade. This one that I didn't know how to categorize is probably middle grade, but I just don't know how to categorize it. And G.A. Henty, he's category by himself. So, I do think, I do think I'm going to do a third stack. We are going to start it with one of these non-fictions. Alright, non-fiction. This will will fill the category of several of those other books, like the fantasy I know nothing about, even though I don't think it's fantasy. Yeah, it's still an adult novel I know nothing about, and also one of those multiples in one fantasy, chunky fantasy books. Anyhow, then we'll put a G.A. Henty on each stack. We'll put a classic. To Kill a Mockingbird's kind of, is that okay? I don't know. Sorry if you think I'm putting ones I'm more interested in this book. That looks intimidating. So yes, I might. Let's see. Now, 3. Ooh, this is a middle grade. That's Georgette Heyer. Tracy Peterson. Now, 3 mysteries. I'm not doing this well. Now what we have. Alright, we're going to put the moral stories with the animal stories, because that makes it easier than 6, and just King of the Wind, Tigeron, Kansuki, Widow's Son, Little Daisy, The Reward. Then we have, how many of these nonfiction do we actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, nice. So we'll put a that one's definitely more middle grade. Nonfiction on each one. We'll continue that. I don't know, because we have this chunky boy here in the middle of the nonfiction, so we will ignore that for a second and try not to mourn the fact that I'm apparently coming to the end of the chalet schools I have. I have like 16 of them, I think, or something. I've finally finished reading through them. It's been like 3 years or something. I've been slowly working my way through them. She's written like 60 of the things, so I have a lot to collect. However, I have to get like a couple of these stacks done before I'm buying books again. At least from the internet. That's where I'm more likely to find them, though I'm not certain. And I'll just put this one on whichever one looks shortest. So, which is gonna be nonsense because that one's clearly shortest. So yeah, this is my new TBR. We have 3 massive stacks, but this is pretty much my entire actual TBR that I'm interested in. There's a bunch of books I haven't read, but I don't know. So this is stack 1. I think this will probably be my last stack. Because alright, this is gonna be stack 1. So this is the stack I am going to immediately get started reading. And just work my way through. Because it has a lot of middle grade. And I'm just very excited. If I decide I want more middle grade, I can pull from that. Or I might even pull from I don't actually think I have any middle grade in my unhauled books. And then we have, I already showed you, stack 2, but it might be stack 3. I don't know. And we have stack 3 or stack 2. I don't know what order I'll be reading them in. But I have a ton of books to read, and so I better get to them. This is not including any of the books that are on my current reading shelf, because that, well, not super high. It's not super small either. So, I'm excited. And this is how I've organized my books into a TBR. I feel like I'll be able to grind my way through. Now that I know what I'm doing, I think I can get started. Because I was like, I could read all these books, but I recently hauled them. And so I was like, I really want to add in my older haul books that have been on my TBR longer. So I have now, and I like how it looks like they're terribly uneven stacks when they aren't. I mean, they aren't terribly even. Partially because of that stupid thing. But they aren't terribly uneven. So, when I finished the tallest stack, I will move on down. And I might update this in April with adding the spring books. Or I might wait until I'm finished with this, and then I'll add the books I've hauled in the spring. So that's it. Do the things. Bye. Proof I film videos that on multiple days that don't need to be filmed on multiple days. This one here. I'm doing a full show you each book and tell you its title book TBR for the month of March. Now this is not including the 4 ebooks I have to read in March, but that's neither here nor there. We're gonna read in March To Kill a Mockingbird, Cracker Jackson, The Sisters Grimm, The Unusual Suspects, Encyclopedia Brown and the Case of the Midnight Visitor, The Nickel-Plated Beauty, The Education of Little Tree, start reading A Distant Mirror, The Calamitous 14th Century, if I can say that, The Widow's Son, Elephants Can Remember, Redeemer Chronicles The Awakening. I don't know if I'm going to get to the Holy Roll and Reclaim the Darkness, but that is neither here nor there. The Wizard and the Floating City, Discovering Our World, Book 3. I don't have books 1 or 2, so I won't be able to report on them. The King of the Wind, The Trouble with Tuck, Beric the Briton, Early Thunder, Takao and Grandfather's Sword, My Kingdom for a Quest, Julia and Julia. Yeah, this is a rather massive stack, including the 4 books I have on my ebooks I have to read. Yeah, it's my plans, and let's get into them.